Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Well, we did it. We made it through another week, and now it is time for happy hour. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, is happy hour a good thing, or is it more of a punishment that we reserve for Friday afternoons while we're drinking? Are we all a little bit masochistic here? I think we're all a little bit masochistic here because what we do on happy hour is we watch a woke training from start to finish and we talk about it. And we watch the boring bits, we watch the cringy bits, and I think we're gonna have quite a bit of cringe today, if I'm honest about it, because we're not actually watching a training today so much as we're watching a podcast. And the reason that we're watching a podcast, let me just get it up. We are watching a podcast on this channel called It Gets Better. And it has a blue check, even though it doesn't have 100,000 subscribers, which tells me that this is some sort of like influential, well-funded, woke organization. I'm like pretty sure it's connected to the Trevor Project. I'm not 100% on that, but it sounds like something that would be connected to the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is uber, uber, uber woke. And I happen to find this here episode from 6 months ago. It is a show called Perfectly Queer. All right. I guess we could put up the It Gets Better website and take a look at it. And it says on this episode of Perfectly Queer, Ever and Taylor interview special guest Morgan, co-founder of Open Books, which donates LGBTQ plus books to elementary schools. Also, kids are just fine at drag shows. Ever is a chaos Gemini and Kill the Succulent. We debut some cool Sharpie corn emotes, and producer Shelton reviews the queer young adult book Cemetery Boys. This is originally from September 14th, 2022. And if trust me, there are probably some other videos on this channel that we could take a look at. So let me just, I need to fix my sound right here real quick, guys. Bear with me. I thought my sound was set up the way it should have been, but it's not. It's still coming through the speakers on my computer where I can't hear it. There we go. Now it's in the right place. But they've got some other videos on this here YouTube as well, including Sex Media Myths, in which queer sex educators react to, well, things. That could be interesting. This is their Perfectly Queer project. So there might be some other stuff in there that we can watch. Oh, they're writing their own dictionary. Huh. They're writing their own dictionary. Look at that. They've got some fundamentals, they've got some pride stuff. This channel just has a whole bunch of stuff associated with it that I think might be a little bit interesting. Now let's just take a look at the It Gets Better Project website about us. It Gets Better Project is a nonprofit organization with a mission to uplift, empower, and connect lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and queer youth around the globe. Learn more about our work. And so this is an organization specifically targeting kids. So, not always a bad thing, but I'm just a little suspicious. Just a little suspicious. So I thought we would take a look at one of their podcasts today, and if we find out that this one isn't so great, I'm sure we can find some other stuff too. Here's some other things. They've got some live streams here. I don't know. Oh, transgender equality hangout. What the hell is that? Toys don't have a gender. Okay, fine. LGBTI youth hangout. Okay, so they've got kids. You guys know how much I love it when organizations put children on the internet. You guys know that is just my absolute favorite thing in the world, when organizations and responsible adults put children on the internet. So we might have some other stuff we can watch here, but we're going to start off with this one, and we're going to see how it goes. But we have, as always, a couple orders of business before we get to our show today. Number one, please make sure you are subscribed to my Substack. It is Carlyn, Karlyn, .substack.com. You can also go to activelyunwoke.com/Substack, and it'll redirect you right there, just in case you don't feel like learning how to spell my first name today. And the Substack had a little bit of a quieter week last week because I was distracted with other nonsense and chaos that I probably shouldn't have been distracted by, but I was for better or worse. And so the Substack was a little quiet last week. I didn't publish as much. And so we're back on track this week. I'm really happy to be, focusing on the things I should be focusing on instead of nonsense. And I've got a couple of things that have gone up in the past couple of days. Number one, I've got this podcast that I recorded, and I also wrote an article about it too. Apparently, there was an article in the Washington Post that said that schools are so overwhelmed with public records requests from parents that they just don't know what to do. And it's really pissing them off. And I was like, yes, this is like the number one thing that parents can do to find out what's going on in the schools is these public records requests. And guess what? So many parents are doing these requests that the schools are starting to pitch a fit and are complaining about it to the Washington Post. I think that is a feature, not a bug, because every single moment that a school spends time filling your public record request is a moment that they do not spend indoctrinating your child into nonsense. So I've got this here article talking about it. I also recorded a podcast to go with it. That's one new thing on Actively Unwoke. I also wrote this piece last night. This is crazy. We're going to have to talk about this one on Monday probably, but this is crazy. So check this out. Literally, well, no, it ended about an hour ago. So all day today, at the University of Connecticut, publicly funded institution, at University of Connecticut Law School, they had a full day-long symposium with lawyers and experts from all over the country talking about, are parental rights always in the best interest of children? Can we just... This is not like a little hole in the wall event that happened in like a coffee shop. This was a full day long symposium at a public university law school in which they flew in lawyers from Harvard, from Yale, from UCLA, from a whole bunch of other places that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's definitely a list in the Substack. They flew in all these lawyers to talk. They had 3 panels about, can we do away with parental rights with the curriculum? Can we do away with parental rights when it comes to gender? Can we do away with parental rights when it comes to like race and other things? This is real, and this happened today. So you can check that out over on the Substack. And then right before I went live, I posted this update. So about 3 months ago, I told all of you that my Substack was going to become my primary home base for my content creation moving forward. And I'm doing this really transparently because I'm asking for your support. I need you to financially support the work I'm doing. Otherwise, I will not be able to do it, because I made a decision a long time ago that I was not going to collude with any of these politically driven partisan organizations, because at that point, I'm beholden to them rather than to what the truth is. I want to remain independent. I want to remain on my own. I want to remain beholden to no one but you. And I have big plans for resources that I want to create this year that will help not only me, but everyone, in theory, fight back against the woke insanity in different ways depending on how it's impacting you. 3 months ago, I asked you guys for help. I asked you to become subscribers on my Substack or on one of my other platforms, or make a one-time gift, whatever works best for you. But Substack is really what I'm pushing right now, because I do think it's going to be the absolute best and most reliable platform moving forward. And so many of you stepped up. And I'm so grateful for that, because you guys really did step up in a big way. I think I'm one of the faster growing, like small-ish. Like I got some game. I have like 13,000 subscribers or something. But in terms of paid subscribers, I think I'm one of the faster growing Substacks on like the entire platform right now, specifically because of you. And that's information that I got from Substack. So I'm not just like making that up. I had a whole conversation with them like 2 weeks ago. And that's all because you guys are really stepping up and supporting my work. And I cannot say thank you enough, because I've just been overwhelmed with the support. It's really making me happy. But I need to keep on track in order to meet my revenue goals for the end of the year. And so one of the ways I'm doing that is I'm being totally transparent about exactly what I'm spending my time on. I wrote this newsletter a little bit earlier today about all that I've accomplished so far this year and where I want to focus my energy and attention moving forward. Some of the things I've done, if you want to look at the list, is I have written over 75 articles in my Substack on various things, whether that's original reporting and independent journalism, whether that's curating content from other places, whether that's essays and opinion pieces, explaining and breaking down the woke ideology to you. 75 articles in the last 3 months. I'm pretty proud of that. I've also recorded 16 podcasts. And yes, Bree, yes, I know. I was just thinking about you the other day. I know I always say it, but I really was. I really was. Yes, we are going to do the West Wing. I promise. Listen, and I know I've said that 8,000 times, and you are such a trooper. You really are. And I really do mean it every time I say it. I really do. I'm not just blowing smoke, but it has been quite a year. Um, and so now that I've got some things up and running, I do hope to revisit a couple other side projects. The West Wing is going to be one of those side projects. I'm not planning on putting the West Wing. I guess I could put the West Wing on Substack. I guess I could actually. Huh. Bree, I hadn't thought about putting the West Wing on Substack. No, it's not a joke, Sin. It's real and it's going to happen. I actually really do want it to happen. I'm not joking about that. It's just a time it was a time issue, all right? But now I'm now thanks to Bree's super chat, the gears are turning. The gears are turning in my head. See, that's all you had to say. You're like, "Can you put it on Substack?" I'm like, "Yes, I can." But thank you, Brie. I do appreciate that. So I did 16 podcasts for my Actively Unwoke podcast. Of course, I'm doing live streams every single week on Fridays for happy hours, on Saturdays for Socialism Saturday, and then we do other stuff in between as well. I launched my Unwoke art project. I launched Schools Exposed. Schools Exposed is going to be getting a big update this weekend. I'm going to be adding more content to it, launching content that I was kind of holding back to see how people were interacting with the content that's already been launched. So that's going to be getting a big update this weekend. I launched my Unwoke Your Work series. There's so much going on, but there is so much more I want to do. And if you want to read about my plans for expanding the written work with a Woke 101 series, expanding the Unwoke community by really taking advantage of the chat features on Substack, building out, I have 2 plans directly connected to the Schools Exposed project. And one of them, and the Schools Exposed project, by the way, is a program where I'm training people to go in and research what the schools are doing with publicly available information to be able to crowdsource journalism, not only from parents. You don't have to be a parent to join, but specifically I'm targeting parents, but you don't have to be a parent to join. If you just want to do this for fun, you totally can as well. But I'm crowdsourcing all of this so that we can really scale efforts and get a lot more information from schools all over the country. And I want to do 2 things with that in particular. These are going to be 2 of my big initiatives moving forward. Number 1, I want to build the largest archive on the internet of public school equity and gender policies so that you can log on to my website and be able to access a freely available archive so you can actually see the policies, you can see the videos, you can see the documentation, you can see the reporting, you can see all the crazy stuff broken down by school district. And I want to be able to build the largest resource like that exists on the internet. We're going to use Schools Exposed to do that. Number 2, I am going to be building a directory. I'm calling it the Activist Uncovered Project, where it is the largest directory of woke activist organizations, specifically that are serving the schools, as what are called community partners. And these are organizations that the schools hire to go in and do training with their teachers, to go and do training with their students, outside nonprofits. They're usually very social justice oriented. And I want to build a giant directory of those so that if you've got like some random, like say Glisten pops up at your school, we already know Glisten is bad, but like just say for example, Glisten pops up in your school, you're like, what is this Glisten thing? I want to be able to create a directory where you can log on to it and say, oh, Glisten does all this woke training in these schools all over the country, and this is what you need to watch out for. So those are 2 things directly related to Schools Exposed that I think are going to be absolutely game changing. And those are 2 of the things among a long list of other things that I'm going to be working on for the rest of the year in regards to Actively Unwoke. And I need your help in order to be able to do it. So there are several ways that you can fund my work. Okay. Number 1, You can contribute via a paid subscription on my Substack, $5 a month, $50 a year. You can go more if you want to. There's a founder's rate that is available. And that really helps me to have reliable income coming in every single month, which frees up my time to be able to focus more on this. Number two, you can become a donor either on Locals, which of course is amazing. Locals is an awesome platform. I have an amazing community on Locals. Or you can do it on Patreon. I have all different levels on Patreon. You can get some cool perks with it. You can also join my Unwoke Art Substack, which is unwokeart.substack.com. We will talk about this in a second. I'll put the link in there. This is only 2 weeks old. I already have like over 100 subscribers to it, so I'm really grateful for that. I'll talk more about that. You can get paid subscriptions through that site if you want to support my work. You can also make purchases in the Unwoke Art store, which we'll talk about in a second. And lastly, you can always make a gift of support of any amount that you want to give me on activelyunwoke.com/support. And I, of course, really, really, really do appreciate all of the resources that you guys make available to me. I cannot do this without you, so I'm so grateful. Speaking of Unwoke Art, so this is, of course, one of the places where you can support my work. This is a place where I am creating. I'm just like, I need to have a more creative outlet for this sort of stuff. So I'm creating designs that I think provide cultural commentary on the cultural revolution that we're in this country right now. So there are all sorts of designs that are available, and I make the memes available. If you want to just like download them and share them, whatever, that's totally fine. But I also put them on t-shirts, on hoodies, on mugs, and things like that. And so if you really like a design and you like the story behind the design, then you can go ahead and get something cool for your house or your collection or any of those things. And last night I launched my latest design, and this is going to be kind of this is one of the inspiration points for Unwoke Art, because one of the big inspirations behind this entire project is I went to London in November of 2021, and that trip was disappointing for several reasons. But it was not disappointing in that I got to see some amazing art and go to some amazing immersive experiences. And my favorite one was an exhibit called Curious and Curiouser. It's an Alice in Wonderland exhibit. It was at the Victorian Albert Museum. It was incredibly inspiring to me. And I've thought about it a lot over the last, year and a half since then, as I've been thinking about this project. And I knew that I wanted to take inspiration from that exhibit and infuse it into the project. And so the Cheshire Cat design is one of the very first things that I've done for Unwoke Art, because I wanted there to be some iconic design that encourages people to think differently and to be different and to embrace that difference, to embrace being mischievous and sarcastic and ungovernable and authentic and an outsider, to be threatened by no one. We want to bring this mentality, this kind of spirit into the work that we're doing, because there's a lot of chaos in the world and we don't have to buy into it. And so I put up the Cheshire Cat design. I told a little story about it. I made the meme available for download, and I got it on some products like some t-shirts and some hoodies. And someone just bought this mug this morning, which I think is really cool. We got it on a water bottle, stickers, posters. I even put it on a journal and stuff like that. So if you want to subscribe to Unwoke Art, you can do so at unwokeart.substack.com. And you can actually become a subscriber on the site via paid subscription. And that, of course, all goes to support the work I'm doing. Or you can, you know, get a product or two if you want to do that. And that's cool. Well, you are kind of being an asshole, Kevin, and you're breaking the rules of my chat. So for Kevin's edification and for everyone else who might be new here, I have 2 rules in my chat. Number 1, don't be a dick. Do not insult me. Do not insult other people in the chat. If you have opinions where you want to be a little bitch about it, you can go and put those on Twitter, but you can't bring them here. Number 2, no whining. If I ask you to stop doing something, just stop doing it. I'm in no mood today, my friend. Don't test me. If you break my rules, you might get a ban, you might get blocked. It really depends on how I feel about it. But no, it does not give off a lot of white lib woman vibes. And if that is the only thing that you're going to bring to my chat, my friend, you don't need to be here for very long, because I'm not putting up with the bullshit one moment longer. We have too many important things to do. All right. So take your feelings somewhere else. All right, guys. So that is Unwoke Art. And the last thing I want to talk about is movie night. Now, when you become a supporter of my work, either by becoming, again, a paid member of a Substack, a paid member of Locals, a member of Patreon, or even a member on this here YouTube channel, you get access to my supporter Discord. Now, A couple of things happen in my supporter Discord. Number one, there is a writers group that meets on Thursdays. They also occasionally meet on Saturdays. If you are a creative, if you're a writer, if you are looking to connect with other people, do writing exercises, get feedback on your work, that sort of thing. I do actually have a dedicated group of people in my community that does that. I popped in and surprised them last night when there was tomfoolery involved in my supporter Discord, and I'm not going to say what that tomfoolery was, but it was a little spicy last night, let me tell you what. But the writers group was meeting, they were sharing their work with each other. It was, well, it was something, I'll tell you that. But it was great. It was great writing. It was just not what I expected to hear when I popped in. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But that is available in the Discord. The other thing that is in the Discord is we do a weekly movie night every single Sunday. Now, normally I don't get any say in the movie because there's a list. Jennifer runs it. Jennifer is a very valued member of our community, and she hosts movie night every single Sunday. And so Jennifer has a list of like 187 movies that we need to watch as a community, and I usually don't interfere, except for now. Because, my friends, we have entered Carlin's month of narcissism. It is Aries season, ladies and gentlemen. My birthday is coming up in a couple weeks. That means this month is all about me and what I want and what I want to do. And I'm picking out all of the movies. Now, we will, and this is the schedule that we will be watching for my month of narcissism. We had a little scheduling snafu last week, which is why Killer Clowns from Outer Space got put to May. But this weekend, we are going to be watching American Beauty. This is a wonderful movie. It's definitely a narcissistic movie if I've ever seen one, and I think it's great. And I haven't seen it in a while, and I'm really excited to see it. Oh yes, Gloria, she read one of those scenes. Yes, she did. She absolutely did. And those who know what I'm talking about. So we're watching American Beauty this weekend. Next weekend, we are watching The Legend of Billie Jean. This is like classic 80s movie, like Boss Bitch. It's so good. The soundtrack is so good. It's so inspiring. I love it. Then we're watching Wet Hot American Summer, which is just one of the most hilarious movies I've ever seen in my life. Then we're watching The Wolf of Wall Street, another narcissistic movie. And then sometime in May, I don't remember the exact date in May, but we will be watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and that's going to be awesome. We almost watched American Psycho. It was definitely on the short list, and then I decided, to be quite frank, that I've seen American Psycho way too many times. And I was like, I want to watch some other stuff. So those are our movie night selections coming up, guys. I'm really looking forward to it. That will be Sunday at 8 p.m. in the supporter Discord, and I will be sending out every supporter the link. So if you're getting one of the perks, you can definitely come and join us for a movie night in the supporter Discord, and we'll look forward to that. All right, guys, before we get started, of course, I need to pick out a beer. Well, I don't pick out the beer on happy hour. You pick out the beer on happy hour, and I've come with 4 selections. Again, I'm not going to drink all 4 of these beers, but we're giving you some options to deal with. And so I want to go through each of them one by one. And there's a couple that I'm really excited about this week that I think you guys are going to like. Okay, so the first one option for today is, I wish you guys could feel this can. The texture is so nice and it's so pretty. It's a pretty blue, and it's called Lemon Berry Squish, and it's from Great Rhythm Brewing Company, and it is a sour ale with blueberries, blackberries, lemons, and milk sugar. So that's going to be our first selection for today. Our next one is, it's got octopus on it. It's from Tox Brewing Company, and it is called Ink Dark Stuff, and this is a sour ale with blackberry, black currant, blueberry, sweet cherry, plum, lactose, and vanilla. So that's going to be our next selection. Our third one that you guys can vote on is called Truffle. And this is, what company is this from? This is from Rockingham Brewing Company. So this is going to be a New Hampshire brewing company. And this is a Belgian-style chocolate stout brewed with organic Bolivian cacao husks and loom chocolate. So that's going to be a nice little chocolate stout called Truffle. But the last one is the one that I think you guys might be the most excited about for today, especially Kino. Is Kino in the house? He's always in the house. I'm pretty sure I saw him. This beer And I'm not trying to influence voting. Vote for whatever beer you want. This beer is called Belly of the Beast. Oh, Kino, there you are. There you are, just in time. This beer is called Belly of the Beast. It's an imperial beer, which means it's more alcoholic than normal. It is also by Rockingham Brewing Company in New Hampshire. It has the hashtag canned ham. And the description of this beer is delve through the dense froth into wait, hang on. Okay, I'm going to start that again. Delve through the dense froth into cavernous black layers of roasted malts engulfed with smoke and infused with, wait for it, salty, sweet bacon. If you dare to enter the belly of the beast, we have an imperial bacon stout, ladies and gentlemen. I found a bacon beer. So I'm putting the poll in the chat. You are welcome to vote for whichever one you want. Again, we got Lemonberry Squish, which is going to be lemons and blueberries. We've got this ink one, which is sour with all sorts of dark fruits and cherries and plums and vanillas and all that. We have got truffle stout with chocolate. And then we've got the beast itself, the Imperial Bacon Beer. I have a feeling I know which way this is going to go, but we're going to let you guys vote anyway. And while you are voting, I'm going to put away the other beers. And please mount that like button for me if you would be so kind. We do happy hours every Friday at 5 p.m. where we watch Awoke training from start to finish and we drink some drinks. If you are watching or if you're drinking anything fun tonight, let me know what you're drinking in the chat and we shall celebrate you as well. Hang on. I'm not quite sure what bingo card to do today, if I'm honest about it. Maybe like LGBT. I'll get a genderqueer bingo card. Hang on, I can do that. Just gotta make sure that my beer is in the cooler. Let me see. Let me get my bingo card up and running. Yes, Cooley, I'm gonna get you a bingo card. Don't you worry. We're gonna do genderqueer bingo today, ladies and gentlemen, because we are watching an LGBTQ plus show. There's your bingo card. Everyone gets a unique bingo card. We're going for lines or corners. If you get bingo, shout it out in the chat. You're not going to win anything, but we will all celebrate you. Let's see. The vote is 57%, 56% for the bacon beer. Lemonberry Squish is coming in second. Truffle third, and the dark inks or the ink dark stuff is fourth. So we're going to call it there. And it's time for some bacon beer, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get a nice pour for you so you can see. This is an 8%, so I might not get more than one beer today because I don't want to get too silly. All right, Kino, I will check when your surprise is ready. Let's see. Cheers, everyone. It's going to be a stout, so it's not going to be a pretty color, but I'm sure it's going to be filled with bacony goodness. Oh, good head. Oh, that's definitely an imperial. Oh, shoot, that's an imperial. That's very alcoholic. I gotta let it settle a little bit, guys, but look at the head on that. The head is where all the aroma is. Excellent. All right, folks, let's get started. And we are watching a woke podcast from an organization called It Gets Better Project, talking about donating LGBTQ plus books to elementary schools and why drag shows are totally okay for kids. What we're going to be seeing here in this presentation is kind of like your boots on the ground activist. So when a lot of these presentations, we're seeing kind of like more of the true believer activists. They're like one level up. But this is definitely going to be like boots on the ground. Good head. That's what she said. That's definitely that's what she said moment, Brie. I appreciate that. All right. So let's get started, guys. Let's see what fresh hell we're digging into today. Oh, hang on. Did I have some other super chats that I missed? I don't want to ignore super chats. I know there were some super chats that came in. I did miss them. Okay, I apologize for missing the super chats. I think I was thinking about beer. Bree says, as long as we get more West Wing, I really want to hear your take on Ainsley. I know I need to do that. I really do need to. I really keep intending to. I promise. Pamela, and this Substack idea has me thinking, Bree. So don't. Pamela says, have you seen California Assembly Bill 665? Democrat warns California moving towards state-sanctioned kidnapping with mental health bill for minors. Pamela, I do not know what that is, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this down. California Assembly Bill 665. Thank you for letting me know about that, Pamela, and I promise I'm going to look into it. And again, guys, I do apologize about missing those super chats earlier, but we made it. We got it, and I will definitely look into it. Thank you so much. Kino, that looks so cool. That looks so cool. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Okay, when is the show gonna start? Fast forward. Fast forward. Oh, here we go. Okay. The music seems to have stopped. There we go. Yay.
It's perfectly queer with It Gets Better.
Hi, Taylor. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, their
Welcome
sound is messed
back.
up.
I'm so happy to have you.
So happy to have you. Y'all,
I'm turning my
welcome back
mic
to
down and
Perfectly
turning theirs up.
Queer, with the It Gets Better Project. I'm Ever, your resident non-binary butch.
And I am Taylor, half Capricorn, half chaos bisexual.
Oh God.
I'm half Gemini.
Guys, there are no captions available, just so you know. I tried and they don't have them. I apologize for that.
I'm Gemini.
If you're non-binary, then why would you need to enumerate butch? Like, you're supposed to be non-binary. Am I like a lot louder than them? I feel like I am.
You're a Gemini, you don't have to do halves because you're already two people.
I'm pure chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But welcome to the show, you guys, where we like to help you build community, spark joy for roughly an hour. So.
Give or take. Y'all, we have an incredible show. I know it's getting close to back to school. And today's episode, the theme is books. And just learning and going and growing and looking forward to an incredible school year.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a fabulous school year. I think it's going to be a great show we have today. Before we get started, let's go through the agenda. As you guys know, we do the queer current first.
Okay, I have to say.
So I want to say, so anyway, I can make them louder. I can't make them any louder on my end because you can see they're up to maximum volume. What I can do, we all need to work together to make this happen, is I can turn down my microphone volume, but I need you all to turn up the volume on your end. So I'm turning my microphone volume down. And now I need everyone to turn the volume up on their end, okay? And I'm sorry, I wish I could control other people's technology, but it is what it is.
Say something. You are already in school mode. Let's look at the agenda.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I'm currently in my third year of my PhD, and I am TAing this quarter. And I'm going to be teaching my own class, and I'm very excited, and I am in syllabus mode. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Ever.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Oh my gosh, do you hear this? The emergency that's occurring outside of my house? It's fine.
My whole life is an emergency.
I hope that's better.
Y'all, we have an incredible show. We're going to be starting off always with the queer current, with the top 5 news stories that we think you need to know. We have an incredible guest, Morgan Walsh, joining us with Friends of the Family.
So exciting.
we also have the queer current. Or not the queer current. We're also sorry, tech is hard. We're also going with the Converse Quick Hit, where we're looking at the trends, and odds and ends from all over the internet. We're going into queerly creative today with Shelton Lindsay, an incredible producer, one of our dear friends, talking about one of his favorite books. And of course, we're going to be going into Let's Talk About It.
What a fabulous show we have in front of us. I'm really excited. Before we get into that, though, we do need to thank our Humble Bundle sponsor, the Humble Bundle community, whose generous contributions have really helped to create this show. It's really helped to continue this creative process that me and Evan, our producers in New York, have given us. And it's just a really exciting opportunity that they have given us. So thank you so much, Humble Bundle community.
Thank you, Humble Bundle community. And y'all, we're super excited. You might be seeing some really cool things pop up on your screen. We have some amazing.
Bree says, what does half Capricorn, half chaos bisexual mean? Nothing. You're not a half Capricorn. You're a full Capricorn. And no offense to Capricorns, but most Capricorns are giant pains in the asses. Some are okay. Most Capricorns are giant pains in the asses. Pete Buttigieg is a Capricorn. I'm sure some Capricorns are good. There's no such thing as a half Capricorn. Let's see. I'll look into that, Gloria.
And that's all due to the humble. Oh, look, there it is. Super excited. So every time we see one, pop it off in the chat.
Tag yourself. Tell us what Capricorn you are.
It is going off. Talking about the class, my life is an emergency. Syllabus mode is still chaos for Taylor.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. Oh, the class, it's just a general
not much
film and media class, like a film and media 101 class for freshmen and the new students. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna watch movies.
That's so cool. Y'all, we have an incredible show for you. So sit back.
Much better than Capricorns. Still can be a pain in the ass though.
Mm-hmm. As you guys know, the news never stops and it is continuous and there is so much of it. So we have done our duty to bring you 5 of the most important queer news stories of the last 2 weeks. Starting with our first news story. There was a recent article in the LA Times in which, an editor, he just talked about, his time with his kids. And he said offhandedly that they went to see a drag show. And then that became a spectacle for certain people. They were like, you took your child to a drag show? How dare you? So in a very interesting move,
they probably did say exactly that.
Show wrote their own article about their experience at the drag show. And they said they had a fabulous time.
Yeah, a family-friendly drag show is incredible.
Well,
it's
to be fair, of course the child's gonna have a good time. The child doesn't know what's going on. And listen, by the way, I actually don't care about the drag stuff all that much. I think that if parents want to screw up their kids, parents screw up their kids every single day. It is the way of parenting. And it's just if you are making the choice to take your kid to an all ages drag show or whatever, you're going to be the one dealing with the consequences of that. I don't think we should be banning it. I think it's retarded. I don't think they should be around nudity or things like that. But I just think, I think this is one of those things that it's more moral outrage than actual harm. But that still doesn't mean the kid knows what's going on.
Dinner and a show.
All ages drag shows are the backbone of this great country. RuPaul's Drag Race is in its 30th season across the globe, and it is family entertainment. People watch it all the time. I fail to understand what is wrong with seeing this creative process.
And also live. What a special element to be watching these performers showcase their talent. And also, speaking of showcasing talent and drag queens, Sangela is going to be the first drag queen on Dancing with the Stars.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
I think we already know who's going to win.
She has to. If there's a snub in Dancing with the Stars, I will never shut up about it on Twitter. I already felt that way about All Stars.
I hate to say this, I've never watched.
Neither have I. Oh, well, that's not true. My grandmother was a stringent watcher of Dancing with the Stars, so I have watched a few episodes.
Okay, but like, who do you if we took all the contestants from Drag Race and we put them on Dancing with the Stars, who do you think would win?
Alyssa Edwards.
Oh my god!
And
Okay.
and I say this because Shangela is Alyssa's drag daughter, so it's her birthright to win Dancing with the Stars. That's 100%.
How can we make this happen? Honestly, right now, that's all I can think about.
We have to vote. We have to vote. We have to exercise our democratic right as Americans.
We want Dancing with the Drag Queens.
Exactly.
If you're in the chat right now, pop off on who you think would win. We definitely want to hear from you. Okay, absolutely. Alyssa.
That's what I'm talking about, R. William. you know what the tea is. Alyssa is that girl.
Truly. Also. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of that girl, we're going to talk about Ginger Gonzaga confirms that her She-Hulk character is queer and that there's more coming. Now, Ginger herself has identified as bisexual.
What?
Gang. We love new members of
Did we know that She-Hulk was queer? Of course She-Hulk's queer. Don't think we should be surprised by that. But really what I want to talk about is I don't think these two people like each other at all. Is anyone else getting this vibe that these two people, I don't want to misgender, these two people hosting this show, they do not like each other at all. They're just pretending.
To the community. But I love that she's salute to the bisexual
bisexual army.
Literally. But I love that Ginger's starting this dialogue because I think She-Hulk in and of itself is like a piece of television that started a lot of dialogue about how superheroes don't have to be, straight and white and male. They can be,
No, it has not started that dialogue at all. Everyone hated She-Hulk. So Did anyone actually like this show or movie or whatever the hell this was?
The TV series is actually really good.
I think it's good or bad reviews. I think it's still bringing light and attention to what you're talking about. Like, why are these people upset? Because it's female superheroes?
No one's upset that it's a female superhero. No one cares.
Get out of my face.
No one cares that it's a woman. They care that it's
That's what
bad.
my therapist told me the other day. Get a grip.
No one cares that it's a woman. What is a drag daughter? I have no idea. I've never been in this community before at all. So is it kind of like a protege sort of thing? I'm guessing. Yeah, no one cares that She-Hulk is a woman. Wonder Woman is a thing. Wonder Woman was great. There have been many female superheroes prior to She-Hulk. People had a problem with it because it was stupid.
Speaking of getting a grip, I do have some homo work for you. Terrible segue, but this is true homo work. AMC is creating, they've already created it. It's about to go live. A TV adaptation of Interview with a Vampire.
Really?
If you haven't seen the original movie from the 90s or read the book.
Right.
How was that? Did anyone watch that?
Have two things of homo work.
Two homeworks to do.
You have two homo works. Honestly,
seriously.
Interview with a Vampire, Anne Rice as a goth. As a goth youth, that was my queer awakening.
I was exposed to Interview with a Vampire, the 90s version, in utero. That was my mother's favorite movie the year that she was pregnant with me. And I think that's why her and my father were not surprised when I wound up, being the bisexual that I am.
They were like reading it out loud, like petting the belly.
Like, yep, this is exactly what we needed.
And this is Lestat.
This is so fake.
And me in utero's like fabulous. Yes, let me inject that into my personality right now. But speaking of really good television, yesterday was the Emmys, and in our fifth news story, we're just talking about all of the great wins that happened. Me personally, I really vibed with Gerard Carmichael. He won for his comedy special, Nathaniel, which if you haven't seen it, it's a beautiful, intimate, poignant, incredibly funny comedy special in which he gets very vulnerable about like his journey as a queer person. And it was just really, really, really well done.
And I also appreciate kind of when you watch it, the courage in that vulnerability of
couple hundred, not many.
He's not standing up. He's sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
He's being intimate. He's surrounded by his audience. He's thinking, he's reflecting, and it's almost like an invitation as a viewer.
Wait, so was it I don't watch any of this stuff. I don't watch TV. But like, was it like a comedy special where he was crying about being queer? That doesn't sound like a comedy special to me.
To be there almost in conversation with him personally. That's how I felt. I was like,
I agree.
oh, I am experiencing this with Gerard.
Yes.
It was just so beautiful. I think that it was, you know, as a performer as well, like very inspiring and challenging of like, okay, how can I do something like this with my act?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also, can we talk about Lizzo?
She won an Emmy for her.
Bree says Scarlet Witch is also another really popular female superhero. There are tons of female superheroes. Like, why are these people acting like She-Hulk was the first ever female superhero? That just makes no godly sense.
Her television series, her dance competition show, which we talked about on the show when it like first came out on Amazon, and we were both so excited for it. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so happy for her and the girls that were involved in the project. Like, I'm just so happy for them. It's a really big win, I think, for plus size women, for queer plus size women. Like,
are we judging acting or are we judging something else? I don't understand.
What a wonderful
Why
night.
does
And
it
also,
matter
I'm thinking about
she's
that
queer and
cheerleader
plus
that's now a
size?
Lizzo backup dancer. Do you remember? We shared that TikTok.
Her.
Yeah, I was like,
her.
yes.
She's so great.
Oh, okay.
Well, you guys. Yeah.
We do have a stream cleanse. It's Emmy nominated, or it's Emmy vibes.
Yeah,
for
it's
you all.
Emmy award winning Cheryl Ralph Lee giving us her acceptance speech. I immediately started crying. I hope you all too.
I'm gonna cry again.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, this is the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I am an endangered species, but I sing no victim song. I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know.
I mean, you got to give her credit. That's pretty good singing. Come on, that was really good. That was really good. Come on. Credit where credit is due. That was actually really beautiful. We don't always have to be dicks, all right? We don't want to turn into them for so many reasons.
I sobbed.
I'm literally fighting for my life right now to not cry on this camera. But, you know, now we're moving into friend of the family. Ever, you want to take it away?
Yes. Yes. Like, where's my tea? Yes.
I taste more alcohol in this beer than bacon.
Guest.
It's not bad.
I would say
it is smoky. There's a lot of smoke.
Queer family. We're going to be joined by Morgan Walsh. She is she is a co-founder of Open Books, which is an organization that donates LGBTQ plus books to school libraries to foster a more inclusive learning environment, which is incredible. As you know, like we've been talking about this, you know, especially with Don't Say Gay and more states kind of banning books. This is an organization fighting back and giving back. So I'm super excited to talk to Morgan. And
I just want to once again remind people that I was, after the very first Moms for Liberty interview on CNN where they talked about book banning, I was, I think, the first person to come out and say, this is not a good idea. This is stupid. It is going to be used against us forever. Why are we talking about book banning, you idiots, on CNN? I was the very first person to say it. And what has happened in the last year is that it has been used against us every single effing day since that interview. Moms for Liberty has probably done more irreparable damage to the anti-woke movement than they can ever account for with whatever activism they're doing. Because they're not even really doing real activism. They're not supporting people on the ground. Maybe onesies and twosies here and there. But like, they're not really. In fact, Moms for Liberty, I heard this week, is basically dead in the entire state of Texas because they didn't support any of the people there. So they just stopped going and they stopped joining. It was one of the dumbest things that has happened in this entire movement. It has caused so much damage. It has handed the left so many wins. It has turned off so many people. It was a bad idea from the beginning. I am not in favor of book banning at all in any way. To be extraordinarily clear with anyone who might be watching me for the first time, I don't agree with it. You need to win this by convincing people intellectually that these books shouldn't be in schools. But every time you just ban it outright, you make people want it more.
And I'm super excited to introduce you to all to Open Books. Hey, Morgan.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm Morgan Walsh. She, her are my pronouns. I'm so happy to be here. And that acceptance speech hit me.
Oh, God. Immediate tears.
Hang
hit my
on.
face.
Sorry,
Oh,
I got one more thing to say. I just want to confirm something. Yes, Stephanie, thank you for making a purchase in the Unwoke art store. I really do appreciate it, Stephanie. Guys, if you want to buy a t-shirt or like a water bottle or a mug, I actually really love the mugs, if I'm honest about it. The mugs are my favorite, but the t-shirts are pretty cool too. Head over to unwokeart.com. I've got lots of cool designs up, and it all goes to support the work I'm doing. So thank you, Stephanie. I do appreciate your purchase.
Is like the fact that she first of all sings a song, and I know I'm supposed to be talking about other things, but it just is such a good speech. But how she sings a song and she sings it so beautifully. It's like, I mean, I could see myself trying to.
I
do a
know I have
speech
too
and
many
I'm
mugs
singing
too,
really
but they're
off
so
key and it just
cool.
wouldn't
It's
impact.
relatable.
Same. People would be like, get them off.
Yeah.
Play the music. Play the music.
See, this is the problem. In that idiots on the internet pretend they don't understand the point I'm making, and they make themselves look retarded. There is a difference between, this is what conservatives don't understand. There is a difference between winning hearts and minds and getting people on your team intellectually and legislatively forcing your religious values on people. What conservatives are doing is legislatively forcing their religious values on people. When that happens, people don't like it. They don't like having things forced on them through the will of the state. And you only resort to using the state to do something when you are incapable of making an argument that is convincing. You guys never even bother to try to win hearts and minds. And that's why you lose. That is explicitly why you lose. So there is a difference between those two things. Don't pretend there isn't. I ain't going to suffer that bullshit at all. But on the positive side, Vicky Bell is going to buy a journal. I appreciate that, Vicky. Thank you. Yeah, I have thought about that, actually, RJ. That's funny. I have absolutely thought about that.
Play the
Get 'em
music,
off.
yeah.
Play 'em off. Get 'em
Play
off.
better music. Play better
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for sharing. Oh, thank you for sharing your name and pronouns. If you're just joining, I'm Ever. I go by they, them.
I'm Taylor. I go by she, her.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
much.
let's get it right into it. Go ahead, Taylor. I feel like I'm cutting you off.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to talk over you. So tell us about how this organization got started. It's a fabulous organization. We'd love to know like what the process was into like the beginnings of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. You said it in the intro, but Open Books, we're a California 501c3.
Hang on. Sin is saying, sorry, I keep interrupting for merchandise updates. Sin is saying, I bought a journal a month ago. You need to put the meditative burner on a mug. I'll put it on a mug, Sin. You know, I wasn't making mugs when cause you bought one of the very first things of the entire store, Sin. I think I just hadn't gotten to making mugs yet, but I'll put that on a mug for you. I don't mind. And they've actually, So the store that I'm using to print these things on demand, they actually have just added some really cool mugs lately, so we can do that. Absolutely.
We donate LGBTQ plus affirming book sets to public school libraries. We've been doing our first district-wide delivery was in 2018. So we've been doing this for, long before it became this hot button issue as of late. Both myself and my co-founder, Keiko Feldman, are moms. We're supporting LGBT kids. And we both felt passionate about setting up what we've sort of called the padded perimeter, because when you're raising kids, you want them to be themselves, and you're also so scared that someone's going to hurt them.
Yes.
So we thought, well, like, what's a way to change the world around us? And for us, it was first having people share their stories on a website. That's actually how I connected with Keiko. I started this website at the time called gendernation.org because my oldest.
Hang on. RJ is asking, do they have big tumbler water bottles? Yes, they do. Now, I've been using a specific type of water bottle that I think looks the coolest. But so, okay, if you guys go to the Unwoke Art Substack, I swear we're gonna focus more on the show than we are on my merchandise. So if you want designs that you see on the Substack on like a specific type of thing, just leave a comment on the post and say, Carlin, can you put this on this type of thing? And I probably can. I just like, so when I'm putting merch in the store, I'm basically doing the things that I think look the best, and I have a specific brand in mind that I want to maintain. But if there's something specific that you're looking for, you're like, Carlin, I want this in this color, or can you do something like this or that or the other thing? Just leave a comment or send me an email or a DM, and I can probably do it. I can at least look into it, just because there are so many different things I can put them on. I don't want it to be on everything, because that kind of like, it becomes too much after a while. Tanya, thank you for the purchase. I got the Be Different shirt. I love the design. Thank you. I love the design too. I've gotten so much good feedback on the Cheshire cat design. I'm really happy about it. I'm really glad people like it. I wasn't sure that people were gonna like it, to be honest, as much as I do. And I really appreciate the vibe that I'm getting from it. So thank you for that. All right, back to the show. Focus.
Kid was
Focus.
like, Mom, I don't know any other kids like me. And without wanting to be ahead of his consciousness, because we didn't know, we just wanted him to have the space to figure out what it was, just to create the space. And so I said, do you want me to help you find some other kids? And he said yes. And so it was like a Facebook page and then this website. And I asked Keiko, knowing that she was a mom like me, to share her story, and if she was willing to share the story of her son, Zach. And so they did. And then a play group started. So we'd have community play groups, and I would buy books to bring to these play groups, and I would watch the kids like start to look through them, and you could see their expression change. You could see how happy they were to see themselves in a book. And then one night my head was hitting the pillow, and LAUSD, the teachers, were actually on strike. And I thought, like, because Keiko and I are both really, really busy. And I was like, well, what can we do? What's a practical, impactful thing that we can do? And it just hit me that if school districts can't pay their teachers, they probably don't have money to buy these more recent books, many of which in the last 10 years or so. What if I just start donating to our local schools these books, which I know I've seen myself bring great joy to kids? And from there, our first district, like I said, was in 2018. And now we've donated to.
See, one of the reasons that I don't think that book banning is effective, this woman is actually kind of enumerating it, is I don't think that book banning, and yes, I'm going to call it book banning, is effective because you get one book out. Do you know what happens when you get one book out? They send like 5 more books in to replace it. And so if your whole thing is, we have to get all of the books, that's never going to happen. And in the meantime, you're actually making those books more attractive to the kids, because the kids who didn't really care about the book in the first place, who didn't even know the book was there in the first place, probably because they never even went in the library. Now all of a sudden the kids are like, why is my mom going to school board meetings wanting to ban this book? Maybe I want to read this book. And then all of a sudden, you've actually incentivized the reading of the book that you didn't want the kids to read in the first place. Well, at the same time, that one book that you got out of the library has already been replaced with 5 other books. It's just like a lack of foresight, this entire thing. It doesn't achieve the goal. This is the problem. It doesn't achieve the goal at all. It does something, but it absolutely does not achieve any sort of tangible goal that contributes to kids having a better experience where they're not indoctrinated into an ideology. Just because you are doing something doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. And no one wants to be honest about that. No one wants to be honest to say that there is absolutely no evidence that exists anywhere that says that this book banning bullshit has had any positive impact at all.
Over 1,000 schools, reaching
Wow.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of students. Most recently, we donated to all of Salt Lake City, Utah, which was
All of
amazing.
Salt Lake
That's
City.
incredible.
Are you shitting me?
And we're working on a big donation to the East Coast right now. Another 128 schools in a school district. I won't say the name yet, but that school district, they predominantly receive free and reduced lunches. So it's a district that can really use support. And we're thrilled to be able to donate to them. And then, we've donated to Fresno. We've donated to all of LAUSD, which is the second largest school district in the nation.
Mhm.
We're very passionate about this work, and we want to keep doing it wherever we can.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
doing the work and
Mhm. Thank you so
impacting all
much.
of these young lives in such a positive way. Have you like received any pushback, or has there been any challenges when kind of initiating conversations with different school districts, especially the ones that are outside of California?
Yeah.
And what can you like kind of tell our audience? Like a lot of the viewers are young people who are really making change. Like they would love to hear from you. They would love to hear about your
Spilling my beer on
experiences
my
and
shirt.
how you navigated those challenges.
Sure. Well, a couple things. One is we started this in California, and California has surprisingly conservative areas too. So what we found in the beginning was that we struggled just to get people on the phone in the beginning. But now I believe we're the only organization that partners with schools at a district level. And we do that because we want it to be, we want the messaging to be that this district is supporting the books. We want the kids to hear that positive messaging. And here's like the, silver lining in all this, in this very strange, horrible political climate we're in. And that is what we keep finding is that educators, people who care about, people who are the custodians of children's minds and spirits, right? Those people see the kids that they have, and those people care about having these books. They're begging for these books. So
because those people are
lately is this,
indoctrinated.
Political intervention that is not based on, certainly not based on the kids that are in those schools, because the truth is, and you guys know this, there are LGBTQ plus identifying kids in every school in this country. So the choice is you either support them or you hurt them.
Exactly.
Right? It's that simple. And what we found is that educators want to support them. It is a small, at times very vocal group of parents. Usually there's some religion that's involved as well. And your question was about whether or not we've received pushback. And by the way, like, I'm so passionate about this that I will keep talking, so you guys can just shut me up in the middle.
No, you keep
this is
talking.
great.
I'm
We love
enthralled.
this.
You don't understand.
I just, I'll say that one time that we received pushback, in the beginning. We'd given a preview set to a district. It's actually here in California. We'd given a preview set. We get the preview set returned to us, and there's these post-it notes like all through the book, right, with like comments and things. And I get on the phone with the
Oh
person who
God,
reviewed the
Gertrude
books
Ann.
in this district, and
Gertrude Ann is making such a good comment, and I want every Christian conservative to listen to this. Gertrude Ann says Christian conservatives could learn a lot from people like this. These people are willing to do the work. Seems like conservatives just complain and bitch. I completely agree. What sort of programs are Christian conservatives developing targeted at the schools? And I'm not talking about let's put the Bible in school, because no, you're not allowed to do that. But there are other things that you can do in schools that don't directly involve putting your book in the school while excluding all other religious text. Like, what are you actually doing? I think it's a great question to keep yourself honest. What are you actually doing? What tangible things are you creating? What results are you producing? How much positive feedback have you gotten from people that you've helped? And I don't want to hear, we need to get the Bible back in school. Listen, man, I don't care if you read the Bible in your house. I have 3 of them sitting on a bookshelf right over here. It makes no difference to me at all. But you are not allowed to force your religion onto other people. So pick a different strategy. There are so many other things you can do that do not involve the Bible specifically. Yes. Also, if conservatives would work as hard on writing the next Harry Potter as they do complaining, they could actually make progress. RJ, I completely agree. This is part of why I launched Unwoke Art, by the way, was because I wanted to create things with messaging that was cool and funny and sarcastic and dry humor and intelligent humor that was poking fun at the system that people could wear or they could carry around or they could have with them or they could give as gifts. That was why I launched it in the first place. And it's like, anyone can do this. So why aren't you?
said, you know, we're pretty much okay with most of the books, not all of them. That's my teenager.
No, that's great. Yeah.
Do you
Hi.
know? Anyways, so he said we're pretty much okay with all of the books except for a couple of them, and one of them was the story of Harvey Milk. We have the story of Harvey Milk, the Rainbow Flag, and I said, what is your issue with that book? And he said, well, it says that he was assassinated. And what's interesting is at that time, our book set, that book was the most outrageously LGBTQ. It had a huge rainbow flag. It had Harvey Milk. So it was the most overt title, I think, at the time. And I had this hunch that that's what it was about. And I said, the issue is that it says he's assassinated. And then I called my kids into the room. I put the guy on speaker and I called my kids who were much younger at the time. And I said, you guys, how did Martin Luther King die? And
I was literally about to say, I was like, this sounds fake.
Exactly. My tiny little one was like, he was assassinated. And I said, how about John F. Kennedy? He was assassinated. And so I said, it seems to me that we don't need to be concerned about that. And it's actually really important that we have books that are about real people, right? Because
I actually think there's nothing wrong with teaching about Harvey Milk, if
civil
we're
rights
honest.
activist that we don't learn about.
I think there's nothing wrong about teaching about Harvey Milk, and this is part of the problem. Like, you might like Harvey Milk, you might not. You might have questions about Harvey Milk's lifestyle and his choices, which he did make some bad choices, and that has nothing to do with being gay. He just made some bad choices. But that guy, like, it's one of those things. It's like you can learn so much from him. That guy put in the work. That guy fought an uphill battle. That guy was hated by so many people. So many. People, like, Christian conservatives could learn a lot from him. if they put their issues aside for a moment and said, how can we be as successful as this person was? And now he's an icon. He has books written about him. Okay, he was assassinated. That's not good. And it was kind of effed up what happened to him. Well, not kind of effed up. It was really effed up. But look at the impact that he had. There's a movie about him with Sean Penn playing him. It's a good movie. I'm not sure exactly if it's totally like historically accurate. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure they took some liberties, but it's a good kind of like primer. It's called Milk. He won an Oscar for it. Yeah, he was the first openly gay man to be elected into he wasn't into Congress, he was like a city like councilor or something like that in San Francisco, into public office, exactly.
Absolutely.
And the guy said, okay, you won me over. And then the day that we delivered, and this is the point I really wanted to make, the day that we delivered, and it still chokes me up, we delivered to all of the principals in that district, and we wheeled these books in and gave a set to each principal. And that man came up to me crying. And
Wow.
he was as gay as the sun is bright. And he was like, thank you. And I realized he was scared.
Yeah.
He was just scared.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
just so proud and so grateful to the educators who put themselves out there, you know, to make
Absolutely.
sure are there. So that was the time we got pushed back, but we made it to the other side.
Mm.
Yeah, that's incredible. And it's also like, I mean, you never know, like hearing that and, you know, being afraid. And there's a lot of like queer people in higher, you know, power jobs,
Mhm.
higher seated jobs and professions who are afraid to come out. And I
Mhm.
think that it's kind of, you know, what you're doing and what Open Books is doing is getting queer literature and to our daily use or our daily mind's eye or the
People are talking in the chat about a world, like teaching a world religion class in high school. Hang on. Yeah, like teaching like world religions or comparative religions. I would have no issue with that. In fact, the people who I think need to learn more about other religions and other belief systems in the world more than any other group are who? Christians. I studied Buddhism when I was in high school. I wrote entire papers about Buddhism. Read a lot of books about it. And you know, because that was the path I was going down at that time. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm more of a generalized spiritualist now. But it's like one of the things that I've learned in the past couple of years is that like a lot of conservative Christians truly have no idea about other belief systems and other religions. They have no concept of it. They know Muslims are bad. They can't really articulate why for the most part, but they know that they don't like that. But in regards to like, especially more Eastern philosophies, they have no clue. So I would be completely okay with like a world religion class. I actually think that would be great. I think teaching the Bible as literature is fine as long as you're teaching other religious texts as literature too. The Bible has great lessons in it. I'm not anti-Bible or anything. I am anti-forcing religious values onto people who don't want them. But if you just want to teach it as like, you know, a text that has important life lessons, fine. Teach the Quran next to it. Teach Buddhist writings next to it. Teach A Course in Miracles next to it. Oh gosh. Getting a call from Texas for some reason. So, yeah, I think that would be great.
the zeitgeist
Mhm.
in a way that it helps ease that fear and pain because it becomes normalized when you read text about yourself or you see, like, as Taylor can talk about, media
Yeah.
that reflects yourself.
Mhm.
You know, and it's something that we talk a lot about here on the It Gets Better project is like being safe, being confident, feeling seen. And I think that, you know, you've also inspired this principal to be brave
Yeah.
and to feel celebrated. So thank you so much for all of the work that you've been doing. Also, the chat is like popping off.
Yeah, they're in love with you. They're like, this
Yeah.
is amazing. The
Yeah.
work is amazing.
That's awesome. We want feedback too. If people have favorite books, right now we focus on elementary schools and we do that
Focusing on
intentionally,
elementary
because a lot
schools.
any person will tell you that by the time, and maybe you guys can speak to this, but by the time kids are in middle school, they're already in some distress, right?
Yes.
So we want these images, these stories in schools when kids are in elementary school, so that hopefully we can, prevent from being in distress by the time they get to middle school. And we'll move into middle school books too, but that's our focus.
Yeah, that's incredible. Is there like a favorite book that you find schools or students are reading?
I can speak to a couple things about that. One is we have the book by Alex Gino, which is now titled Melissa. But originally it was published under the title George. And it's the second book ever. The first one was Gracefully Grayson, but it's the second book ever to just like go to the New York Times bestsellers list, right? It really broke through.
Wow.
And when we started doing this, we purchased it. It was titled George. We were submitting it. We became acquainted with Alex, the author, and Alex started to advocate that the book title be changed to Melissa, because that is the title they originally wanted it to be published under, and that George is actually the dead name of the character. But publishers at that time, this is like, I'm going to say it's like 2009, 2008, but publishers at the time were saying people won't buy a book that has a woman's name. So that was the first thing.
Yeah.
And then, so Alex had stickers designed that go in the exact font over George that say Melissa. And Alex shipped us a ton, and we started stickering our books for our delivery. And
I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so great. And that is the book that when we went into one of the schools we donated to, we saw a copy of Melissa, and it looked so pristine. It looked really brand new. And so we thought to ourselves, like, oh, maybe they're not reading this. Maybe it's not getting checked out. Right. And Keiko, my co-founder, was like, hey, is this not getting checked out? And the librarian said, oh, no. We've had to order another copy because the other one
was out.
Wow.
So that one is devoured by people. And then Keiko's favorite book is the book Red, which is about a mislabeled crayon. And there's a lot of
I know that book.
that are universal.
I know that book. Do you know how I know that book? Because it's in the Seattle Gender Book Kit. If anyone was around for the Seattle Schools Investigation stream, the Seattle School District actually has videos on their website of a very flamboyantly gay person that is in their health department that read trans books to different grade levels starting at kindergarten, and Red was one of the books that they read. So we've actually listened to Red on this channel. Not a bad book. I actually didn't really have a problem with it, to be perfectly frank. So fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing we really try to emphasize. And we ask anybody who wants to, please read these books before you assume that they're not right to have in elementary schools, because they're about feelings that we can all understand. They're about humanity.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Even if it's about a bird that can't find its flock,
Yeah. Wow. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. We're going to kind of pivot a little bit into a segment that we like to call Canonically Queer. So basically, this is, is that the sound?
I think tech is hard.
Tech is hard. Wow.
Tech is hard. It's Mercury retrograde. It's Mercury
there's
retrograde.
no point in even trying.
Yeah.
I mean, welcome to my life.
But Canonically Queer is a segment that we like to do with our guests, where we ask them what the queerest object in their vicinity is. And so, take your time, let us know.
Okay, for me, and let's see how this
Victor
works,
says this
but
too.
for
I don't
me,
agree.
It is.
But thank
that's my
you.
bookshelf with all of the books that we donate. and also some other ones we're exploring. And then there's a tiny little, gosh, you guys, I don't even know if you can see it, but there's a tiny little Love Wins thing. It's a little sign that says Love Wins.
Wow. And your
That's
bookshop
so
was so well
lovely.
organized. I love the color section you got going on.
I need it. Like my
Yeah.
OCD, I need the color situation.
That was beautiful. I love
Morgan,
that.
thank you so much for joining us today and talking with us about open books. You're doing such incredible work. Where can our viewers find you or find out more information about open books?
Yes, please. So we use private donations to purchase the books from publishers in bulk at a discount, and then we donate those books. We don't have paid employees. It's myself and Keiko Feldman. So if anybody is willing, every little bit helps. Openbooks.org is our website. You can go there, and we're on Instagram at openbooks501c3 to follow us, and Facebook Open Books as well.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much, Morgan.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Morgan.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you so much. I
Bye.
appreciate you. Thanks.
Wow, they're amazing. Those
Yeah,
are a fabulous
Impressive
organization.
work.
Like when she said that they like gave to like LAUSD, like all those other school districts, their current project with like hundreds of school districts on the East Coast, like that's amazing.
Impressive. That's organization and
Truly organizational skills to a level that I can only hope to aspire to.
also the principal story really got my heart.
Mine too. I was like, wow.
Wow, it was a twist I didn't see coming.
But it makes a lot of sense. You know, I feel like a lot of older queer people, like they're so fearful of the visibility of themselves because they know what can happen, right? Like the real negative repercussions.
They live through that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's hard for them to adjust to kind of like this new era that we're existing in right now, where like things are, you know, they're getting better. They're not perfect, but they're better.
They're getting better.
Right. It gets better.
It gets better.
Yes.
Speaking of it gets better, it's gonna get better with this Converse Quick Hit.
Absolutely. Let's hit it.
The Converse Quick Hit.
Converse Quick Hit. What is this?
Okay, the first video we have is for our friends. Honestly, this is me every time I listen to classical music.
Same.
I'm just play the video.
I didn't hate
Any
that.
work try
I
to
thought that
do
was
to
pretty great,
classical
actually.
music, I'm like, it's done.
I don't even bother. Although I love cleaning to classical music, it makes me feel very much like the main character.
I go through a soap opera in my mind every time. If something dramatic comes on, it's a one-person play in my house. Forget it.
Period. Exactly.
So dramatic.
Speaking of, let's go into our trends. We're going to talk about queer hijabis.
What?
Funny, yes, but not funny, haha. Funny queer.
What?
Funny queer.
Queer. Can I just say I love that this is the universal symbol? Like people are like, is he, you know?
Queer.
Just love that.
Y'all, okay, our last video is something
Wait. They have the shape of corn, they have an emoji in the chat. Like they have like an emote.
Oh my
on there.
God.
Look at what the It Gets Better just said. Oh, she's so cute and so small.
How?
These are not adults.
I'm
They're
screaming
so
right
cute.
now.
What is
I'm
going on
sorry,
right
I
now?
didn't mean to stop the whole formation.
It's almost
I-
like
the
this is
chat
targeted
has
towards
been popping
children.
off.
Popping
Also,
off. Indeed.
How am I just noticing Ever's plant collection? If anybody in the chat has any plant tips, please.
You look
I'm
like
a
you're
plant.
doing great. Your
I'm a
looks
plant.
amazing.
I'm trying to get these plants to stay
Look
alive.
good. They look
And
good.
Yes, this is
so
the
far,
TikTok
not
section
so good.
section of the show because all we're doing is teaching
So
TikTok now.
in the chat, if you know, please get a plant. Okay,
This
I'm gonna
definitely
show
isn't
y'all a
targeted at
plant.
kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Good.
Yeah, show
No
us a plant
way
right
this
now.
is targeted at
Thank you, chat.
kids.
I love plants.
No way in this
I'm
Stephanie.
This is a plant that I am currently trying to revive.
You're a savior.
I don't know about that.
This is amazing. You're actually doing great. I'm sorry. Where's the other leaf?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know what happened. They
It
just
happens.
all fell off.
It's the change of the seasons. Just
And
give
this
'em
one
some
is like
time.
going under. I don't know what to do.
Maybe it's the pot. Sometimes the root system gets suffocated. Maybe it needs a bigger pot.
I'm gonna try to show you all another dead plant. We don't have time for me.
Someone in the group chat said that it's an elephant ears plant.
Well, how do I keep it alive, Sulky? I'm like getting.
I'm about ready
defensive.
to change to a new video.
This
I'm
is gonna
like
turn into a
about
plant
2 minutes
right
away
now.
from
Well, then
changing to
show
a new
me
video.
how. I'm trying.
Not
I
what
was
our
like,
moderator's
okay,
for. Yeah.
the internet is like you're over-watering it. You're not watering it enough. And I was like,
It needs sun. Put it in the dark. It's like, what do you
Yeah,
want from me?
yeah, what's photosynthesis? Forget it.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna get us back on track. We have to finish. So we're gonna go to odds and ends. This is a message to your plants, Ever.
Oh my
Let's hit
God.
the clip.
It truly
Hold
is.
on. Wait. You're gonna be okay.
That's the one plant that escaped my house, running to tell the other plants, it's
It
gonna be
escaped.
okay.
It's coming back for the other plants to mount liberation.
I'm killing.
Oh,
succulents.
liberation.
Oh, I've killed a succulent before. That's an incredibly demoralizing moment.
You know,
Succulents, by the way, are delicious. If you never had succulents, you get some succulents, you fry them up in some butter. They're the best. Do you guys want to watch a different one? I would like. There's a different one of these shows that I want to watch. Hang on, let me get it up. I feel like we've kind of tapped out on all of that's going to happen in this one, but they have a different show. Well, it's the same show, but it's a different subject. Hang on. In this show, they talk about the word queer, women in esports, and dealing with trolls. I think that we should just give this just see what's going on.
Celebrate.
Oh, captions are available. It seems louder too.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Oh God, the volume is so much louder. Hang on, I need to turn down my hang on. The volume is so much louder. I need to turn down my personal volume. That just blasted my ears out. Like, I apologize if anyone else's ears got blasted out. I was expecting it to be the same. I apologize. No, this is well, it might be newer. Hang on. It might actually be newer, Sin. I'm not sure.
Hello.
All right.
Hi. Hi, I am Taylor Scriber, your resident semi-friendly chaos bisexual.
Hi, I'm Ever. I'm your resident non-binary butch, here to celebrate with you. Welcome to Perfectly Queer.
Woo!
Woo! If you're returning, welcome. And if you're new to the stream, hello, welcome.
Hi everyone. Seeing some familiar faces already.
I know.
Hi,
Lila's. Oh my God, Jinx.
Hi. Yeah, Lazy Gnome. Hi. Well, Ever.
Yes.
Welcome back. We had a little twofer. We're back to back, baby.
That was really fun.
Oh, the captions are on theirs
but
too.
we will be
Oh,
going
hang
back
on.
to bi-weekly after this episode.
We don't need
starting
captions.
on
They have it on
February
theirs too.
So,
Isn't that considerate?
February 22nd? Is that right?
You know, this feels like a math question.
I wasn't even
and
paying
I'm
attention to
unprepared
that.
to answer.
And I'm not going to ask you to, because we know gay people can't do math, so we're not gonna.
It's proven. No, we have some really great guests coming up, as well as today. Bae-Ginning is going to be here. We're chatting.
And we can ask them about sports, esports specifically, not sports.
Oh, hang on,
No,
hang on. Breaking news. Our very own bot has created a cult t-shirt, and I want to make sure everyone sees the t-shirt that bot created because it's awesome. Check it out. This is in Bot's store. Bot has started her own online t-shirt store, and she's got a cult t-shirt in it, and it's about drinking the purple Kool-Aid, and it's awesome. And I'm gonna buy one, and I think you should buy one too. Let's see what does Bot have. She's got it in purple, obviously. got it in blue, got it in black, got it in gray, white, got it in gray. Looking good, bot. Do we have some other products as well? We've got hoodies. Awesome. Awesome. Looking good, looking sharp. Got all sorts of different kinds. So I want to highly recommend everyone pick up a cult shirt. This will support Bot. Bot doesn't have a job and needs money. I think. But more importantly than that, Bot is the chief investigative officer of the cult. Bot is critical to my community. Bot is a massive supporter of the Schools Exposed investigation streams. She is better than research. She's better at research than like almost anyone. And so if Bot wants to make cool shit that we can buy, I think that we need to support our chief investigative officer. I think it's great. I'm going to be picking one up. Sin asked for the link again. I'm going to send you that link in the chat, Sin. Thank you, Bot, for creating a t-shirt for us. I do appreciate it. All right, let's get back to our stream.
Esports.
Yeah.
Esports.
But we also have some really great guests coming up as well. Naomi Hartz. And then excuse me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Winnie?
Yeah.
Mm.
And they are a
love it.
current Twitch ambassador. And so we're going to be, talking to a lot of really cool queer content creators next month, you guys. So we'd love to. And also, Valentine's Day is coming. We would love to spend the few days before the holiday, loving ourselves, loving our queerness.
Yeah, giving love to each other, which always feels really great. I'm gonna move this right over here. Y'all, we have a really fun show. We're gonna be watching some TikToks. We got 3 really cool ones for you. I'm really excited because one of them includes serpent with feet.
True.
I'm so excited.
I guess. Wait, before we start, how was your week? How have you done? How have you been?
My week's been good. I was traveling. I was in San Francisco.
Yeah, you went to San Fran.
For a festival. It was really fun. It was really busy. I had 2 headlining shows on Friday and then back-to-back shows Saturday and Sunday, like kind of across the city. But it was fun. It was good to see like some, like new friends and old friends, and then also some family members showed up. Yeah, that was really fun.
That's so nice.
How was your week?
Oh, it was good.
Okay. Okay.
It was good. That's how I approach all my weeks, because I have a really bad short-term memory. So I'm like, what did happen this week?
Well, you're retaining so much information all the time. It's
really true. I have to just jettison things that don't matter. Like, was yesterday Tuesday? Maybe it was. I don't really care. I had to read like 50 pages of theory, and that's taking precedent right now in my brain. It was good. I had my queer theory class yesterday. That's always really fun. It's really cool being in a space with other queer people and like talking about.
It's so great being around people that want to have sex with
really,
certain types of people.
It feels very healing to me in a sense. It's like not something that I had for a very long time, and so like it's nice. It was a good week, I think.
Yeah, well, sounds really nice. I'm trying something new where I have the Twitch channel open on my phone, or the Twitch chat on my phone.
You're brave for that.
If you see me like look down, it's because my phone locked and I'm like, oh my God.
What's going on?
Yeah. And it's like, right, yes, I forgot to take the auto lock off.
Rookie mistake.
Oh,
I also wanted to.
Oh, what's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did they say? What happened? My stuff is over here. What is this?
You make the viewers do the math for you.
Period. And do. If there are any mathematicians in here, y'all do that. Yeah. I was going to say, Oscar nominations came out, as we know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a film girly. And all I really cared about, frankly, was that Everything Everywhere All at Once got what it was supposed to get, and it did.
Yeah.
11 nominations. We love to see it. Angela Bassett got nominated. I will say, I'm kind of upset because Nope did not get any nomination.
Oh.
And I was really shocked because it's like, I'm like, it was such a good movie. Like, it was just so good. Like, everybody liked it. It was really good, like critically received. But then the other part of me is like, the Academy doesn't take horror seriously. It hasn't taken horror seriously since The Exorcist. And so like, Maybe I need to mitigate my
What are you talking
expectations
about?
for
Get
the
Out
show.
got a
Makes me
bunch of
sad.
nominations.
I have something I need to admit. I didn't
Please
watch the
stop.
Oscar nomination.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you didn't watch Nope, and I was about to lose.
Oh
my
no, just the
mind.
nominations. I
Oh,
was
that's
just so
fine.
busy. Okay.
No,
I was like,
I
yeah,
only
the
watch it because
Oscars.
it's literally my job. I don't have
Right.
an expectation that anyone else watches it until the night of and be like, "What? Who's nominated again?" I have no expectations of that. Not at all.
Are you pretty good at like kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't call it like guessing, but like having a hunch of like who's gonna win or who's gonna be nominated?
I just want everyone to keep in mind that the reason that we're watching stuff like this is not only to learn how these people think and how their mind works, it is to understand what your kids are watching. All right? Your kids are watching this. This is who they're learning from. It might end up explaining a lot.
Definitely nominations. Wins, it depends on the year. That fluctuates. Like
Okay.
sometimes you see like a best picture. and
Oh,
like,
I just bought that
that's,
t-shirt
like,
and a
gotta be
mug.
cute. But like,
Yeah.
for instance, like with like best animated feature, I really think it's going to be between Pinocchio and Puss in Boots 2, which is not a sentence that I thought I would say, but Puss in Boots 2 is apparently like a tour de force of animation and narrative storytelling. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to try to watch it this
I think
weekend.
I know what's gonna happen after this episode.
Oh yeah, I've heard that it's like has no business being as good as it is.
That's Antonio Banderas' Puss, right?
Yes, he is. Yes, he
Puss
is.
in Boots?
And he had a near-death experience apparently, and that really made him reevaluate which roles he wanted to take, like going on in his life. And so for him to take this movie, like proved that like I feel like he really cared about the script, and like critically, every person that I've talked to ever has been like, that movie is so good. I was like, what are you talking? What are you saying?
Okay.
Because the
I'm
first
down to
one is
watch
like,
it.
first was like nothing to write home about, and then Pinocchio, obviously, because Guillermo del Toro was like master, and he spent like over a decade working on this movie. And I watched it when it came on Netflix, and it was really, really good. Very poignant, beautiful animation, great story. I loved it a lot. So I think it's between those two. Best Picture, anybody's game. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Banshees of Inisherin, because they won the Golden Globe. Yeah, but
Kind of a okay.
yeah, because it's a safe pick. Sometimes the Academy goes safe. You know, they're like, oh, okay, we'll choose the safe thing, which is like this.
Except for La La Land.
Oh, that year was so messy. I was like, because that was the only movie I had not seen in the lineup, and I still have to this day have not seen La La Land. I'm not interested. Drag me in the comments if you want. I don't care. I'm not interested.
Not interested.
But
Not
I was
for me.
Really upset we're gonna get the Oscar. You're really not gonna give it to Moonlight?
Yeah.
And then
I didn't like that moment because it like the way they were like, we didn't win, by the way, kind of sucked the joy out of
all of it.
Like it was like, oh,
sucked the joy right out.
You could have been tactful, but
how tactful do you want them to be when they accidentally got
Granted,
presented with an Oscar?
La La Land was
like,
not for me.
Not for me. Yeah, agreed.
Yes, not for us.
Puss in Boots might take it. Exactly, Lazy Gnome. Like I really, the way people talk about this movie.
Is it on Netflix as well?
What it's on?
Or is it on HBO? Or is that?
It might be on HBO.
Okay.
I know it's DreamWorks, so it's anybody's game. Like it's not Disney. So
I can't keep up with all the streaming, Taylor.
I know.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's causing too much stress right now. I feel like I can't keep up. Sometimes I'm just like hitting the remote and just being like, show me this. And it pops up and I'm like, great.
Sometimes I'll be on Netflix and I'll spend a literal hour looking for something to watch. And then I just watch a YouTube video that I've seen 1,000 times.
Right? It's comforting.
I'm exhausted. I don't want to watch anything. I'm exhausted.
I don't want to have to think about what I'm ingesting. I just don't want to ingest.
Right.
I
don't want to think about it at all. Truly.
You know honestly. What I love spending time on? TikToks.
Oh, period. As we know.
Tell us you're retarded without telling us you're retarded.
Let's go right into our Thriving and Enliven segment.
Jesus Christ. Thriving and Enliven. I need more sparkle in my
So,
streams, I think.
Hello,
I think that's the
everybody.
problem.
Hello, friends. Today we're going to be viewing some It Gets Better Project TikToks and chatting, and then we will be speaking.
Oh, good.
Oh, am I gone? Am I here?
There's a lag, but I'm gonna pretend that there's no lag from now on.
Okay.
You always come back.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much for working with me. So like I said, we're going to watch some TikToks from It Gets Better Project. We're going to chat a little bit about them. We'd love to hear y'all's thoughts as well. And then we're going to get right into beginnings. One of the It Gets Better Project's first ambassadors, actually from their ambassadorship program.
A year and a half.
A year and a half, which is actually a very long stretch of time, like a very long stretch of time. But before we get into that, let's start with this first TikTok.
Black gay artists you should listen to, part 2. You know when you eat cotton candy and it just melts on your tongue? That's the best way I can describe Destin's music. It's laid back, it's groovy, it's so peaceful. And if you've ever wanted to go on a trip in your favorite rocket ship zooming through the sky, Tanariel's music is music to listen to.
What is going on with her
celestial,
boobs?
It's R&B, it's soulful. Last but not least, we have Serpent with Feet, whose music can be best described as adoration in lyrical forms. He's got this Baroque pop soul thing going on, and it's...
I love Serpent with Feet.
We were talking about that before we started.
Yes.
We were like, Serpent with Feet is dope.
Dope. And I love the descriptor of the first artist of like cotton candy dissolving. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out today.
Kind of
Have a bubble bath.
Are there any other artists that you like? I know personally for me, like Yves Tumor is one of my favorites.
Oh my gosh.
Yves
Yes.
Tumor?
He is so
Did someone actually name themselves Yves Tumor?
I'm about to drift away.
What is wrong with these people?
I'm like thinking about all these musicians and their songs. I'm like, yeah, what's going on with Frank Ocean?
Okay, I have a question. Because I have a birthday in a couple weeks, all right? I have hit a certain age. I am in the back half of my life. I know it. Well, maybe not totally. I mean, I could still like hit a midpoint, I suppose. It depends on my overall longevity. I've crossed the abyss of 40, all right? Have I reached the part of my life where I'm like, these kids today and their music and I don't understand? Is this what my parents had to put up with when I was listening to like emo music in the 90s? Which is like the only acceptable time. Well, like I'm truly asking, is it like the same thing? Does everyone go through this? Because I truly do not understand this music at all. I do not understand the appeal of any of this at all. Is this what this is like to be like, you kids, get off my lawn? Ugh. Next thing you know, I'm going to turn on the oldies station. They're going to be playing like Blink 182 or something. Have I really reached this stage in my life? John Morgan, you're going to be there someday. I don't want to hear about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm upset.
Because isn't he going to headline Coachella?
I don't know.
I think I don't know if it was fake or not. So if it was fake or not, somebody tell me. But I think I saw that he was going to headline Coachella again. And now I'm like, okay, are we getting new music?
I would hope so.
Right?
Like, I love Frank Ocean. That's why I'm so upset. I'm like, I need the money. I need to consume.
I need the more.
My brain needs it.
Sell art so I can give you my money so I can have it.
I'm ready to give you my money, Frank.
Right. Just take it. Take it. Yeah.
Probably working on a very beautiful album. That's what I would hope.
Yeah. I remember when he was dropping Blonde.
Oh yeah.
That was a stressful time in my life. I was staying up at all hours of the night waiting for him to drop that album.
Refreshing. Did you see the thing that I think Ticketmaster is?
Yeah, they're doing that Senate hearing right now, and they are ripping them apart.
Oh my god. Maybe that's what I'm gonna like watch. Like
on C-SPAN.
Yes. Oh god,
Ticketmaster.
John Morgan.
C-SPAN. If you want some unbiased news coverage, I recommend C-SPAN. They're great.
And for those who are watching and you're like, what's going on with Ticketmaster? They kind of have like a monopoly.
It's not
over
kind
it.
of, they fully do.
They fully have the monopoly.
Why are we
Yeah.
we
Well, that's why
watching
you
this?
see, like,
What is going
artists
on
like,
right
you
now?
know,
Why did
Harry
I make this
Styles and there's
choice?
a few others, like their concerts
This
were
was
sold
a
out,
horrible
but it was, like,
choice.
less than half full. Or I think it was Bad Bunny.
It was
Mexico.
Taylor Swift and Bad Bunny.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was because scalpers were still getting
the
the tickets.
resellers get the tickets and then they resell them on like other sites or wherever for like
This was probably one of my most ill-considered choices for happy hour in the history of happy hour. Thank God I've got an Imperial bacon beer that's only 2/3 done, and I'm pretty drunk. I'm not gonna lie. I'm already very buzzed. All right, Bree says we should create a nonprofit that donates anti-woke book. Bree, this is an amazing idea. Like books about the founders, and if they refuse the donations, we contact third-party media. Bree, you need to join my community and come in my community, and we need to build out this idea, Bree. I'm not even joking about this. I know I might sound like I'm joking because I'm on a happy hour stream and it's just like that vibe, but this is an excellent idea that I think should absolutely happen, and I would be happy to support this idea in any way I can. I just can't lead it, Bree, but you know what? I believe in you, and I believe in other people, and I actually think that we should do this some way, somehow, and I would absolutely support it in whatever way I could, and I'm not joking about that. I'm not going to forget about this, Bree. Excellent idea.
Exorbitant amount of money. And it's wild because like I saw a senator make this point during the hearing because I watched a little bit of it today, and he was like, why wouldn't you just make it so that you can only buy a ticket for yourself and you can't resell it, so then if somebody can't go to a concert, they just refund it to the venue and then the venue sells the ticket. Like, why would you be able to transfer the ownership of the ticket to someone else? That doesn't make any sense. And I was like, you're right. You're right. You should say it.
But also, I will say the one caveat is like, if I bought this ticket for you for your birthday, that's when I would want to transfer it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, definitely. I think that should be like if you want to give it as a gift, but you shouldn't be able to sell it for money. You know what I mean? Like there should be an option to be like, this is a gift for somebody else. And it's like they have like their own code.
I'm watching C-SPAN. I have my whole night planned.
C-SPAN?
Two.
C-SPAN.
Every beer is better with bacon. Thank you, Martin. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Oh my God, it's gonna feel so good. I'm gonna pop in a bubble bath. My mom gave me a bunch of.
I appreciate the super chat, my friend.
Bath and Body Works body wash. She always says that.
Love Bath and Body Works.
I'm gonna soak.
Yeah. No, as you should. But speaking of getting older, speaking of different generations, we are now going to move into onto the second part of Thriving in Life, and we're going to be addressing this article called "Please Don't Use the Q Word." This article was featured in the Guardian.
Oh,
I don't know if
the moderators will... So this is what I wanted to hear, because I know a lot of gay people. All right. Most of the men in my audience are gay. Not all of them. There are straight men too, on occasion. But most of the men in my audience are gay. I have an occasional lesbian here or there. Lesbians do tend to appreciate me. Here's my point. I have yet to meet a single gay person, whether they be man, woman, or they, that likes the word queer. I have yet to meet a single gay person that wants to be referred to as queer. So this is why I watch this video. I want to hear their discussion of why in God's name they are using the word queer and trying to force that on everyone, when quite a few people that I've met in the LGBTQ plus IA two-spirit whatever the fuck community, a lot of them don't appreciate being labeled as queer. Sin Shadowland says, so body wash, my brains are leaking out my... Yes, my brain... Maybe, I feel like we've turned a corner. We're actually getting into real content. I'm sorry you all had to suffer through that.
Drop it in the chat or not. It's really short. It's not really an article as much as it is just a letter that someone
sent. I felt like it was a man's thoughts.
Yeah, it was like citizens' thoughts, public thoughts, and it was like this is short little letter, but basically It was this man named Carl Lockwood. He says he and many other queer gay people find the use of the word queer insulting and
Yes.
derogatory. He says, quote, "I am a gay man of 66 years with many friends and acquaintances, and no one would refer to themselves as queer. It would seem a small minority of activists has encouraged the media to use the word without
Yes.
considering its offensiveness to many people.
Yes.
You wouldn't use the N-word, so don't use the Q."
Exactly.
Now, Ever, I would like your thoughts first because I have many thoughts, but I would love to hear your thoughts first.
While I can see that some people would find the word queer offensive, I find the word queer very inclusive for the LGBTQ spectrum as well as sexuality.
They're
Would
like,
I
fuck you. How dare
compare
you? Oh my
the
God. You're just
usage of the word
old.
queer with the N-word? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
I thought that was a bit outrageous to put in this
yeah.
article. Personally speaking, I was like, oh, 66-year-old man. That too. I was just like,
Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? I just watched a whole show with you where you were like, yeah, Harvey Milk, yeah. Do you know how old Harvey Milk would be now? Do you have any idea how old Harvey Milk would be now if he was still alive? Hang on, let's find out. What year was Harvey Milk born? 1930. Okay. So he'd be pretty fucking old. 2022. I know it's 2023, 1930. Harvey Milk would be 92 fucking years old right now. Okay? So you're going to tell me that, oh, 66-year-old man, me, how dare you? Do you know how much harder it was to be gay for that 66-year-old man than it was for you? Do you know how much more bullshit that 66-year-old man had to go through that you have never had to deal with in your life? Because he probably spoke up for future generations? Are you really going to be that ageist about someone having an opinion that you, a 66-year-old man, meh? What the fuck is wrong with you?
like getting a little cranky about it. And it was also like, it felt very like preachery to me, this article of like, don't say this. And it was like, hey, like some people feel this way, which I can totally understand. Like,
Absolutely.
100%. If somebody was like, hey, I identify as a lesbian, not as queer, like pulled me aside. Of course, everything's a learning experience, but
Absolutely.
to me, comparing it to the N-word was a bit.
It's a little strange.
Probably
said, "I'm
because
gonna
you're
put
so
down my
privileged
glass.
because of the
I'm
work
just
that he did.
And I'm gonna back away.
I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna take a walk.
What about you, Taylor?
Okay, so here's the thing. I absolutely, because I said this last week, that there is a lot that we can learn from older queer people. I think that a lot of the times we discount
that they don't want to be called queer,
of not being particularly relevant, like maybe the journey that younger queer people are facing in modernity. And so but I think that there is so much to learn from our queer elders, absolutely at all times.
100%.
That being said, we had a really interesting conversation actually in my queer theory class this week about intersectionality, right? And how, and there was this article that we read. It's called Punks, Bulldaggers, and Welfare Queens: A Radical Queer Politics by Kathy J. Cohen.
Oh, good.
I think okay, go ahead.
It's a great article. I don't know if I would be able to give It Gets Better Project.
I'm so glad they're teaching that in
somewhere.
school.
I don't want to put that on them, but like it's free on the internet.
I feel like I've read that.
Level.
Yeah, a lot of people have read it. It was like a very big text in like the 90s when queer theory and like queer politics were like really coming into fruition. But what Cohen is able to really do and get to is like the intersectionality of queerness, because at that time, a lot of people would associate queerness with whiteness, frankly. And there was no kind of perspective of like what it means
because it all means
so that
capitalism.
last line about like you wouldn't use the N-word, so don't use Q-word. It's like Well, as a Black person who gets around other Black people who have reclaimed the N-word for themselves and like have grown up on people that say that word and people that don't feel comfortable saying the word, I can say that it is an incredibly nuanced conversation in which you can't just like foreclose on it completely. Because, and it was also this thing of like the respectability politics of it, right? Like,
yeah,
like you spoke to it and being like, it's a little preachy. It's like people of older generations, I notice it amongst Black people, like they have a real issue with younger people using the N-word because it's a level of like appealing to respectability politics, appealing to a certain like way that we're supposed to want to be viewed. The thing about queerness, about Blackness, is that it's like plural. Like there's a plurality to it. So many people experience it on so many different spectrums. To foreclose on anything is like to really, I think, limit the possibilities of understanding what it means to be a queer person. And so that is what I think is lacking here in Mr. Lockwood's kind of discussion, is like, okay, I understand that you don't want to be referred to as that, but what about the people that do? What about your age mates that do? Because I'm sure there are queer people also in their 60s that want to be referred to as queer, right? So it's kind of that thing
probably
of like
not.
being able
Probably
to step
not at all.
outside of yourself and be like, maybe not for me, but to respect for somebody else, you know?
Oh, so you're saying you should step outside of your own personal preferences and respect other people when you yourself are not demonstrating that you're stepping outside of your own personal preferences and respecting other people? Oh my God, you're a raging hypocrite. Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. She's saying you're lacking because you're a senior citizen. This is why you should not be allowed to have a show on the internet until you're at least 30. And 30 is really pushing it. I would rather push it up like a little bit higher than that, because I'm sorry, you don't know shit about shit until you are at least 35, if not older. I swear to God, I have absolutely become one of those people. I'm like, get off my lawn. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut the hell up. Please listen to people who I know I didn't do this when I was in my 20s either. All right, I didn't listen to anyone. And I really wish I had not done that, because I probably would be a whole hell of a lot better off if I had actually listened to the adults in my life that were trying to teach me wisdom and I ignored them. I feel so fucking old right now. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
I kind of really like the response of our like final TikTok. I feel like it really covers that. Or not even our final TikTok. We have one more after that, but it gets better, has a TikTok that actually dives into the usage of the word.
I'm gonna get a cane and be like, and shake it on the channel.
I've wondered, what does it mean to be queer? And how do people identify with it?
Why does she have a cloud
as a slur? Well, I'm here to tell you. The first thing you should know is queer is an identifier within the LGBTQ IA plus community. The Q can sometimes be replaced with questioning. However, many in the community have very adamantly said Q is for queer. And no two queer people might actually identify the same way or
it's gonna fall out of that shirt.
I use the term queer lesbian to identify myself. I see it as gender expansive, and it's non-men loving non-men. And so I have queer lesbianism.
What? Hang on. What? Lesbianism is now defined as non-men loving non-men? To be a lesbian is just to not be a man? Do you guys know what that means? Do you guys have any? Okay, so check this out. I've actually been wondering about this for a while. So this has actually answered a question that's been on my mind for probably 6 to 8 months. You could have 2 non-binary people who have penises, who are in a relationship, and they would be considered to be in a lesbian relationship because it's non-men loving non-men. You could also have 1 non-binary person with a penis and 1 non-binary person without a penis, and they could be in a relationship and it would still be a lesbian relationship because it's a non-man loving a non-man. This has already answered so many questions for me about, like, I'd always wondered about, like, these non-binary lesbians. I was like, how the fuck can a non-binary person be a lesbian? That makes no sense. But no, you don't have to be a woman to be a lesbian anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to not identify as a man. Fascinating.
It's the third thing you should know. It can be an action. So you can queer something, which is to take it away from its traditional norms and challenge the status quo, which really ties into the political identity that comes with queerness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that last part also. I hate to bring my lecture up again because I know that's not
No,
what
I love
get.
it. I love it.
But the thing about that article with Cohen and speaking about intersectionality is that she makes the argument that like we can include and align ourselves with heterosexual people that don't fit into the like dominant modes of heterosexuality, like single mothers who like, you know, because they're unpartnered and because they've had perhaps children out of wedlock, they don't fit cleanly into a dominant idea of heterosexuality. And in a sense, they are like, Kathy's like, I don't want to call them queer, but like in a sense, they are queered individuals within the realm of heterosexuality. So it's the same thing. It's like, or you think about like people that don't want to have children. You think about people who don't want to get married. You think about like those people are all resisting kind of the dominant heteropatriarchal structure that we all have to exist within in the same way that queer people do. And so like queering something is like, I love that. I love that. Yeah. Fabulous.
I honestly now we're getting to elastic talk. I related to this so hard and so much because there is so much like public feedback on a lot of videos. So let's ask what.
If you post about the LGBTQ community on social media, you can get a lot of support, but you can also get a lot of hate. This is how I handle negative comments. If the person seems to have a genuine confusion about whatever I'm talking about, then I use this as an opportunity to educate them and hopefully increase their understanding and tolerance of the LGBTQ community. But if the person is just outright disrespectful, I don't even engage. I just delete the comments and block them right away.
That's actually really good advice.
Perfect.
No notes. Exactly.
I would say perfect. And I will say though, sometimes you do read the comments. And for me, like don't read the comments. Never read the comments. Never read the comments. But if you catch
this is a good question. Hang on. Can you be am I a birthing person? I've never given birth. Can I be a birthing person if I haven't given birth? Or is it just about the ability to give birth? If you're post-menopause, are you still considered a birthing person? Or are you a post-birth, a post-birthing person? I don't know. The questions just abound.
Can't take it personally.
No.
Because I was reading some and I was like, how dare they think that about me? I'm not doing this. And it was like, wait, these people don't know me. I don't owe them my reactions. I don't owe them space in my brain. I don't want to give that emotional response to them.
Exactly.
So just kind of remember that. And if a stranger is going to comment on your videos and be hateful, like they don't got a life. And they're safe.
I personally, listen.
That's what I'm going to say about that.
Perhaps I'm petty, but I like to get my little joke off and then I like to block them. I like having the last word.
Okay, yes, I was trying to be mature.
I'm a little petty. I like to go, ha ha ha. Because ultimately, and I think that
fair point, Gertrude Ann
said the same thing. Yeah. Is that like it brings up
can men identify as a birthing person?
Algorithm, and then you just like disable the comments.
Can persons with a penis identify as a birthing person?
And a lot of the time, the people that you're blocking are all saying the same thing. So like at a certain point, you're going to be immune to it. You're going to be like, I've already seen it, block. And like Ever said, when you're posting on the internet, you have to reconcile with the fact that these people are only getting 30 seconds to 60 seconds to 3 minutes of like who you are. You cannot allow them or whatever judgment they pass to, you cannot allow yourself to internalize them. So those people really, truly, and honestly,
I appreciate you admitting that men are pussy, Scott.
They don't know you. And I would say even for like the really positive stuff, people that think that you can do no wrong,
Kind
they
of,
think that
not
you're perfect,
really.
whatever, don't internalize that either, because you are not a perfect person.
No.
You can mess up, and you will.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. You take that as a learning experience, and you evolve and you grow. Because if you allow yourself to think that you're either perfect or you're the worst person on the planet, it's gonna get real messy. Really, really.
And
messy.
also, that doesn't allow you to grow because you're like, well, they see me as like XYZ, but what if I want to start doing like
this? Yeah.
This. Yeah. Then you're like, well, I've already, and it's like,
you're not beholden to them. You do whatever you want. You do whatever. If you start off cosplaying and now you want to be a political analyst,
then
that's your business.
That's your business.
That's your business. You don't have to do anything for anybody.
George Santos. You can start as a drag queen and then
not that. Okay. Anyway, ladies. Oh, okay. Take it to the friends and family.
You could be a dog scammer.
All right.
All right.
As we've said throughout the show, we have a wonderful guest coming to have a conversation with us. We're going to be talking to Bay Giddings, who's been an It Gets Better ambassador for 1.5 years, and we're just going to watch some quick introductory clips, and then we're going to bring them right on in.
Drew cuts off Fire Dragon, but Fire Dragon gets all the tiles to respawn there. Zack goes down, Nightwalker goes down, Triumph goes down, Donnie goes down, David goes down. It's all 5 people just on the same tiles. Puns is running with Drew. It's down to Puns and Drew. Drew running back and forth. Drew's trying to bounce. Puns is going back and forth the entire time. Drew gets the cutoff.
What the
all
fuck
of a sudden,
is this?
Drew has the advantage. He has the outside track. He makes the dive, and Drew Crew takes the win. Drew Crew is going to take the entire tournament. Hey, Twitch Rivals, if you want me to commentate next tournament, just let me know.
All right, I'm going to be greedy here, but also I'm putting on a show.
You are clearly in front of me. Oh, well, I can't grief anyone. Oh,
Beautiful.
I'm getting grief myself.
Are people actually watching this?
Just do that.
Yes, I did. And that's the crown.
Oh my God!
Work. Slay. Nice. Hi, Bacon.
Hi. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you for joining.
We love to do names and pronouns first. All be respectful. So I'm Taylor, she, her pronouns.
I'm Ever, they, them pronouns.
Chloe, she, her pronouns.
Fabulous. So nice to meet you. Where does the name come from for your streaming, Bacon?
So for a while, I wanted to get into esports when I was like 13 because I had watched like tournaments, and so I remember I'd watch these tournaments and I'd see people that had like really short names where it would be like nice and clean, and so I was like, okay, this person's name is like mango, this person's name is some other fruit, like that kind of thing. And so they had these short, like no numbers, no nothing kind of names, and I was like, okay, what can be mine? And so early on I was playing one game where I was known as Beginning. And
hang on, does esports just mean people who play video games on Twitch? Like, is there any sort of qualifier that you need to be like an e-athlete? I'm honestly asking. I have no idea.
This was before.
Like, it strikes me as odd though to have this many stuffed animals on one's bed. Like, I have one stuffed animal that my grandparents gave me that has sentimental value. All right, I'm not going to deny it. I do. I have Elvis the polar bear, all right? But I don't have this many stuffed animals. That's not healthy.
Before I'd even come out. And then I had started to do content creation, and I had come out and I was trying to like figure myself out. And so my one friend started jokingly calling me Bay, and then we kind of just combined the names once I got like affiliated on Twitch, and the name just kind of stuck from there.
That's awesome.
Cute. Nice. I didn't realize that, like, I mean, I know gamer tags are like really serious. Like, people, like, my brothers are really into gamers, and so like they're gamer tag, blah blah blah. But that's a really interesting story.
Yeah, I care a lot about like the name and like meaning behind things. Funnily enough, I was actually like worried about the connotation of Bay because we know that there are some people who like to make fun of it or like have a negative reception toward it. So I was worried initially that because I chose this name back in 2017. So at this point, 5 years ago, there was a little bit of a different stigma toward it. And I was like, I don't want people to make fun of me because of this name that I chose. So I was a little reserved at first, but it was definitely the right decision for me.
Absolutely.
So how do you get into esports, and like what really got you in? Like, you remember like your first time you're like, oh yeah, I'm
in this
to a
for life.
tournament.
I'm in this for
Like,
life.
Yeah.
So
it's go time.
The first tournament I watched was, all right, let's see. I have to provide context. I started playing a game known as League of Legends back in season 1. So season 1 was, yeah, it's a regret that I live with for most of my life. But but at this point there is
hang on. So I just tweeted what we all learned about lesbians being about non-men who like non-men. Do you know who liked my tweet? Kim Klasick. Queen Kim Klasick liked the tweet about lesbians being like non-men who love non-men. What a time to be alive. I love Kim Klasick. I think Kim Klasick is the best. I really do. Kim Klasick is like this boss black woman who ran for Congress in Baltimore, and she had some of the best commercials where she was like strutting through Baltimore, and they were so good.
In season 13, so we have to go back 12 years. And I like when you open up the game's client back then, it would be like, this tournament's happening now. And I live in New Jersey, and the tournament that was happening was in Atlantic City, which is like one of the more predominant areas. I was like, oh, this is local. This has a tournament here. I want to watch this. And I think the thing that really got my interest was there was this one team. Kim
Klasick just told me she appreciates me being a lesbian on Twitter. Kim Klasick just legit responded, and she was like, I appreciate you being a lesbian. Oh God, this is the best thing that's ever happened. Great commercials though, Kim. I'm gonna be informing Victor later that I'm a lesbian. Yeah, we have to let him know. He probably is listening right now. He's like, what the fuck is going on?
Remember that some of the players were in high school competing in this tournament. And I sat there at 13 years old. I was like, I want to be able to do that. I think that's so cool. These people are in high school and they're going out to being able to compete. And then I got, in love with like the esports scene, and I made like a Twitch account back then. So I've had a Twitch account for over a decade at this point. And yeah, just been I didn't start streaming until 2017, but that was like the origin of me getting my interest of esports.
So a legend, I'm hearing.
Yeah, legal stop, please. Lo was like really. You mind me asking how old you are?
26.
Okay, so we're the same age. Yeah. Okay, Lo was very big in my high school. Like all of the boys played that.
I don't think there was that many people in mine, honestly. I had like a close-knit group of friends that played it, but it was more like I ended up living with my cousin for a couple years because we both went to the same college.
No, it's not
and
Dear Girl.
It was like
I don't think it's the Dear
friends
Girl
that would play it, and then I didn't really know anybody else, but that was what initially like moved me more to PC gaming. That was what, made me be around more and get, discover Twitch and all of that stuff. So regardless of my regret of playing the game, it led me down the path that I've gotten to.
Are you like mostly a PC girly, or are you like a console? Like, do you also do console games?
These days I do a lot of Nintendo based gaming. So like I have my Switch here, and that's where like a lot of like my streaming stuff goes. A lot of Pokemon.
Oh, I haven't bought a new Pokemon game, I think, in 5 years.
That's what I grew up on.
Oh
with
no, I mean I
Pokemon,
know
so
of
it's, like,
Dear
my
Girl. I
little,
don't know
my
Dear Girl,
special
but I
place,
know
my
of Dear
comfort
Girl.
zone.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely a Mario person.
Have y'all played the new, or it's not even the new, but it's not really, well, it's on Switch now, but the 007.
It's so funny. I have a friend who was literally just talking about how he wants to do a tournament for that, because when it's going to come onto Switch, there's going to be like the multiplayer, and it's that classic N64. I think it comes out soon, but I was
Bond? What do you mean?
it was the old Nintendo 64 one where that was called GoldenEye, and it was like some people's favorite game to play back on the Nintendo 64.
I'm gonna ask my dad about that. He used to play Nintendo 64 all the time. I'm gonna ask him.
Sorry, I probably took your thunder there a little bit. There.
Oh, not at all. I love to know. I'm like, my dad was more of like a Zelda person, so like that's the games that I can really, a lot of like story and blah blah blah. So I love to hear what other people do.
What have been like some of your favorite moments, either like in competing or participating in a tournament, or hosting?
Yeah. So I think that I'm going to talk over the ringtone as I'm
so
no,
sorry.
you're fine.
It happened.
Trust me, I'm really good at being oblivious to this stuff. But
you real? Keep talking.
Yeah. I'll keep talking. So I think there are two key moments I'll think about. One of them was actually the clip there that the second clip that showed there. But the first one was, I remember I had been competing in smaller tournaments, and there was this person who had seen me consistently be in his tournaments, and he messaged me one day. He was like, "Hey, I need a commentator." And this was like the night before, and my team had gotten eliminated. So he was like, "Do you want to fill in?" And I had never done this before. But one of the first things that I had like told myself early on with
Hang on. So Wet Red Flashbed is asking, I'd love to hear you break down why you think these people collect stuffed animals and act like children. It's because they're emotionally stunted at whatever age they decided they were trans. I really do mean that. It's because they are completely emotionally stunted because they were never allowed to actually develop as like normal human beings. And so they will all, I mean, like, it's something that's worth exploring a little bit more from like a psychological level, but like, it's just because they're emotionally stunted. I'll have to give that some thought though.
Trying to get better at games in general was, I said one of the best ways to learn is verbalize everything that you're doing out loud. And then you'll hear it and you'll be like, that doesn't make sense, or that sounds weird to do. And it was almost like I was streaming to myself back then. So I felt like because of that little talent that I had, I was like, I think I can do this. And I remember that first tournament. I was so embarrassed back then. It's funny because like I'm friends with the person now, but before I didn't know the person at all. And I was just trying to talk and vamp, and I was a little nervous. So I started talking about that he put his stream time on like a 30-second delay because he didn't want people to snipe into his game and try to like sabotage him. But I verbally said the time that he had it, thus defeating the purpose of the time. And everybody called me out on that, and I was so embarrassed that day.
Yeah. We all make mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes.
I was like, look, if that's the first time that I do it, then fine, I'll get it out of my system. I never made that mistake again.
Real. That's how we learn lessons.
That is how we learn lessons. Also, what a great way to problem solve in day-to-day life. Speaking something out loud and being like, hey, this is
stream sniping is great. I love it. I embrace
my
it.
therapist likes to say that I
think
have
it's
like
awesome.
really good self-awareness. And
I think it'd be
the
really
fact that
funny.
I thought about that back when I was like 14, 15 years old, and I thought that that was a good idea, really goes to show that, like, I sometimes think a little too much about myself.
Oh, maybe in gaming. You might be
Mhm.
right, Scott.
Yeah, too much self-awareness is actually a detriment.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. Don't think too much.
Definitely.
Think
Don't
it through, think it through, but don't think it through too much.
Yeah, but don't stress it.
No Doctor Strange, a million different perspectives. Don't do that.
So,
you're
and I
exactly
think
right.
like the other moment would have been in that second clip that I was talking about. If you don't know Fall Guys, it's one of those things where it doesn't seem as like crazy, but that play that I made where I got hit by that hammer to send me to the finish line was a very difficult thing to the average person who's played Fall Guys. And that was in a tournament where the prize pool was for $50,000.
Oh my gosh.
And two of the biggest creators at that moment also like were very ragey and toxic, and I'll go into this more because it's like a very like key moment in like my competing career. But I made collectively two of the biggest creators like uninstall the game after that tournament because of that play. So
Not they rage quit. That's so funny.
Because one yeah, so like you can see like on my POV, I just hit the hammer and grab it, and then like that one of the two people there was on the other side on their way up, and they were ahead of me. But because I hit that hammer, I was able to cut them off and also eliminate them from the tournament from that play. So they were just like absolutely livid. I ended up getting second place in that tournament, and I got to meet some really like big creators that I had been watching for a bit that I still try to watch their streams and stop in on.
That's incredible. Congrats.
That's amazing.
Thank
but
you.
Also petty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, super
but,
petty.
like,
Not
I
on
would
you,
love
but
to-
on the
no,
people
on
that just
them.
quit.
No.
Yeah.
It's
That's super common though in gaming.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
no idea
Like,
what's going on right now.
Okay. Because I would love to hear your thoughts on gaming toxicity. Because I remember when my brothers first got the Xbox and they got comms, and they played Call of Duty first person shooters. Like that was not my team, but they'd be like, "Oh, play with us!" Da, 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 da. And I think I've only been maybe in like 3 pod lobbies like my whole life because
Understandable.
they're so mean. And like for me, playing video games growing up was like it was like family time, it was like time with your friends, like it's like a fun little like positive, way to blow off steam, you stress, da da da. But the way that these people talk in these lobbies and on these comms, I'm like, I thought gaming was supposed to be about escapism. Why
All
are
right,
y'all
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on at all, and I'm just kind of over all of this. Is anyone else over it? I think we've seen enough. So that's going to conclude Happy Hour for today. I think the most interesting revelation is the fact that lesbians just like are non-men who like non-men. That's really my big point today. Also, that apparently, children. What was the point I was going to make? It's too much beer. Also, apparently, this is what kids are learning from, and they're learning primarily from TikTok. Fun times. All right, guys, that's all I have for tonight. We will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m., 1 hour later than usual, for Socialism Saturday. And that's not an April Fool's joke. We will be watching Real Socialism tomorrow. But, guys, take care. Have a good rest of your night. Mount the like button on the way out the door, and we'll see you guys soon. All right, bye.